Welcome. Welcome to the Monday live, weekly live of Circle Infinity. We are a group of people pushing forth into our best life ever, using the formless substance, using the infinite intelligence, learning how to work with it, how to release to it, how to formulate intentions, how to revise what we don't want, how to ignore circumstance, how to understand the world, and then unpack our personal paradigm to effectuate the changes that we want. We generally give everybody about a minute to join and then we get going. How's everyone's weekend? We had quite a few success stories. I got quite a few success stories, and they're like very serendipitous things. I'm going to read one right now just to start off on the right foot. And this is from my group. But this is how manifestation should work. And if it doesn't work this way for you, it means you're probably forcing it. But here's what the screen says. Again, this is in our group. Awesome to hear about manifesting. She's leaving a comment about another person's manifestation story. She's saying, I spend a lot of time with my 6 grandchildren in my home. The living room furniture needed to be replaced. I had the thought 4 days ago. While I'm out of state visiting my aunt, I decided when I get home to start to search for furniture. And today, when I got back, there is a replacement already delivered. My daughter found a new set and replaced it. And I told no one of my furniture replacement intention. My intention manifested effortlessly 4 days after the thought. What do you think? What do you think? I love this. You have a thought, you want to do something, somebody else gets it done for you. Huh? I love this. This is the kind of things I'm working for. This is the kind of, I'm thinking, oh, I need a pair of scissors. And it just appears in my path. This happened to me like a few days ago, right? But it's just like a way of living where every single little thing flows. It flows effortlessly. And it's better to have your awareness on these little things because from this you will snowball to bigger and bigger things, right? So if you effortlessly need something and you can manifest it immediately, or it's manifested for you, because we're not the ones who are manifesting, right? The universe is arranging it for us. But if you can do that with, hey, I'm gonna hit all the lights on green, and they're gonna love me when they see me in the job interview, and I am going to be able to be focused and apply myself. Obviously, you're gonna get promoted. Obviously, money's gonna come. Obviously, you're gonna get that house. Obviously, kind of like builds up on top of each other, right? All of these manifestations. So I'm really excited when I read this. Absolutely effortless manifestations. And for those who are just starting the work with the 60-day challenge, like somebody says here, I'm on day 3. If you join the group, and if you're doing the challenge, you should join the group at least for the 2 months that you're doing your work, because you have to contribute to others. That's the whole way that I structured this group. Please take it step by step and understand that everyone's manifestations, the majority of people who are active in the group, they've been around for a while. They've been around through trial and error, and they tried all the techniques. And there's a queen that I'm working with just as of this week, or sorry, I've been working with her for about 3 months, but she's on her second or third day of the third round of the challenge. So she's already gone 60 plus 60 plus 60, okay, 180. She's already gone 180 days, so I guess it's more than 3 months. Just now, she's having her most important realization of her life. That really, from this realization that she sent me yesterday, she's like, I know now why this idea that I had in my mind, it didn't work. I know it. This is why. What do you think? I'm like, yeah, exactly. But how long did it take you to figure that out? Yes, yes. So somebody asked me about my lives. So my TikTok lives that I do for everyone, and it's mostly people in my group that join, I think. But if you just stumbled upon this, it's always Mondays at 12 p.m. and I always post them on YouTube after. And then I have a live for only the people in my group, and that live answers more personal questions, i.e. about their personal lives. And people just leave their question there, but it's a closed group, and it's really like people would say, hey, this is what's happening to me. So it's like group coaching. It's not so much like a live on teaching and answering questions, as much as I try to do group coaching for people who maybe can't afford one-on-ones, or maybe just not ready for it, and they just want a quick question answered. And that's every other Saturday. But when I set the reminder for Facebook, just accept the reminder, and then your telephone will prompt you, right? It will pop up on your screen. And if you want to join, then join. If not, not. But this way, you never have to worry about as to when. If you're part of the group, you will receive that. I want to get on the practicalities a little bit on how to dream for meaning. Okay, dreaming is a very, very important part of what we do. We have a dream time every Wednesday night, and it's a new meditation. It's depending on what we intend with the group. The meditation is short, it's about 4 minutes, but it's all about setting everyone's in the group the same kind of ask from the formless substance. Hey, tonight we're asking for clarity on why this is not working. Today we're asking what's stuck in the paradigm. Today we're asking for the next step. So it just depends. So the idea is when we're knocking with the force of more than one consciousness into the formless substance, it's impossible for us not to be shown. It's just the timing is not up to us, right? Because there is no time. Time is a mental construct that's, okay, general collective consciousness, day, night, whatever, but it's also like a personal concept of time. Like what's a long time for me may not be a long time for you. And so this is why time is very relative in these manifestations. But to dream for meaning, a lot of people tell me I am not dreaming consistently. I'm not dreaming for meaning. So I just want to do a quick review. No food 3 to 4 hours before bedtime if you want to have relevant dreams. And when I say 3 to 4, I think I'm being too loose here, because I really want to say like 5 hours. Like you eat at 6, 7 if you go to bed at 12, but if you go to bed at 10, you're still digesting. So you shouldn't be digesting as you're going to sleep. Your digestion has to be complete, and that takes 3 to 4 hours, right? So from your last bite, from anything that you eat or you drink, as well as no alcohol before bed. We all know that. So if you're having your scotch at 10 p.m. and you're going to bed at 11 and your dreams aren't meaningful, don't come and ask why your dreams aren't meaningful. So it's hard to answer, right? Because I don't know. And people say, how come I don't dream? How come my dreams aren't meaningful? Like, I don't know your lifestyle. But first of all, you got to understand your consciousness is trapped into this apparatus when we are in the 3D world. The apparatus, the biological suit, the body that we have. And if the body is busy, okay, the body's busy, can't relax enough, it's stimulated by alcohol, it's stimulated by digestion, it can't relax enough to allow that consciousness to project out of it during dream time, your dreams aren't going to be meaningful. Unfortunately, this also has to do with prescription pills, which you shouldn't stop taking. But talk to your doctor, and maybe you can take it at a different time of your day, only if your doctor says so. No scrolling TV at least 1 hour, okay? The TV and everything you see through your visual cortex before you're going into that relaxed state, everything impresses in your subconscious very easily. If you watch true crime, at the end of the day, it's a problem. If you watch relationship content that's about how men suck, and how women are better off single, but you really your core being is craving that one partner who's going to make you happy. Remember, whatever you watch, especially late at night, really impresses in your subconscious. If you have this clear idea in your mind, whatever I eat, whatever I drink, whatever I consume in any way, visually, sound-wise, if you listen to hard rock music, if you do all of these things, don't expect to have meaningful dreams. All right? And then one tip is to set your alarm. If you're doing everything right, you're still not dreaming, they're still not meaningful. Set your alarm at 3:30 a.m. Between 3 and 4, supposedly we have the most meaningful dreams. I don't need to do this because my dreams are always very coherent. But set your alarm 3:30, 4 a.m. Wake up and see what you've been dreaming then. And do this consistently for a few days, because that's where your REM sleep dream may get lost after 3 to 4 p.m. Maybe your body goes through some shifts before you wake up by 6 a.m. Then also, I want you to contemplate before bed, where do dreams come from? So that was the physical part, okay? Now the more mind contemplating part and understanding, okay? Dreams come to you, and this connection with the spiritual world comes to you when you are aiming to understand and you're in awareness of it, not before. So understand where dreams come from. What do they mean? Ask to be guided. Guided in the sense, even if you have a nightmare, that's a guidance. What does the nightmare have to do with your memories, with something that happened to you, with a fear that you might have, that you might not even has to do with your trauma in this life? Like you might have a fear of water, fear of I have a fear. I don't know if it's a fear, but I often dream of just my neck not being safe, and so I couldn't lie down with a necklace on my neck for some reason. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I didn't never experienced any trauma, but it's like ask to be guided, to be like, hey, why am I feeling this way? Where does this fear come from? Be in a constant back and forth acknowledgement of the formless substance, of the infinite intelligence, of the, because if you're just going to go to the infinite intelligence when you need something, I need my SP, and I need, it's the same as praying, right? God, give me a house. God, like, or universe, I now have a house. I now have a house. I now have, it's just, if you only go to it to ask it, but you have no idea, you don't sense it, you're not acknowledging it, you're not aware of it. It's like, why would it even want to work with you, right? Why would it even acknowledge you? You have to acknowledge it before it acknowledges you. This is why all the exercises we have is about connection with the formless substance. We have a new moon ritual where it sort of, it has nothing to do with the new moon, but it's sort of like once a month, complete reset. You renew yourself. The old you dies away, passes away, and then the new you is reborn in spirit any way you want her to. And from the small changes, every month you get better and better. That's the idea. Acknowledge the unseen is so important when you do this work. Acknowledge that you're part of something so big and so wonderful. And I've done a video. I don't know, that video should have gone viral, but it didn't. And it's question and answers. It's called The Game. It's kind of questions what you should ask yourself. And you go like this. You go like, where am I? Okay, I'm in my car and I'm doing my live and I'm talking to people. But where am I really, right? I'm in this game. So now if I'm thinking I'm in this game, or I'm in whatever it's more comfortable for you, I'm in the movie script, I'm an actor, I like to think of it, I'm in this game. Okay, how does this game work? How does it works with focus on intention, intention and focus, intention and focus. What else do I need? I need an awareness that I'm in a game. How often do I need to be aware of this? As often as possible, not just once in a while when I hear this concept and it's a nice theory. I need to be aware of it as often as possible, because the more I think of the world as not being fixed, the easier it is for me to affect it, right? And how can you lose this game? How can you lose, or how can you delay? You can lose this game by, well, number one, the way most people lose it, 90% of people in this world, they have no intention and they have no focus. Their focus is stolen from them by the world, and their intention, they're not even taught to formulate one. They're like, I live this life that I was born in, and that's all I can do, and that's. But another way to lose it, even for us who are aware of this, who do formulate our intention, is to constantly try to determine the how. Try to determine the next step when it's not your time. If you put in your mind that you're going to find a husband, you're going to start a business, but the person that you are today is not, it's her time, his time to have that. What does it mean not his time? He's not in that vibratory state. He's not done the work for that. He's still the person that always gets rejected, that always fails financially. He's still that person. And you can't get there from here. Then at this point, you're like, I need to be different. How can I be different? How can I retain my sense of self but be different? How can I formulate my intention? How can I follow better guidance? Where am I trying to determine the how? There's really two things that I want you to remember in your day. When you're not trying to determine the how, you're probably reacting to situations and circumstances. And between these two, your manifestation and your goal is in the background. It's not coming. It's just sort of parallel. It's parallel, okay? You're trying to determine the how and you're reacting to 3D. If you catch yourself in this too, write it down. I caught myself in this. If you catch yourself in this 10 times today, you have not made progress towards your manifestation. Can we focus on multiple things at once, or is it better to focus on one goal only? Here's where we're working on with my group. We're working towards a holistic life, right? So you're working to envision yourself in that ideal life that encompasses everything. This is why my 60-day challenge is around all areas of life and life overall. So if I want my own business and to be married and to be in the certain house, this is where I am. I wake up in that house in my mind. Business wise, I'm going in that direction with my day. So this means I can't be scrolling on TikTok when I wake up for 2 hours, right? Because right now I am that person who lives in that house and who has to. What is that person doing? That person's probably looking to learn something. That person probably has discipline. That person goes to the gym, maybe, if that's your discipline. I don't go to the gym, but that person writes in their diary. That person does something for others. That person wakes up. How can I contribute? Who needs my services? Who needs, do you see what I mean? So the person that has all these goals that you're trying to manifest, it's probably not you, right? Your spirit wants to live inside this person who can be in that life, but it's probably not the persona that your ego has constructed so far. How do we get out of stress state? It's a very loose question, right? If you don't have a discipline of self-regulation, you're not going to get out of a stress state. Fear is irrational, okay? Stress comes from fear and it's derivative of it. And in fact, there's only two emotions in this world, fear and love, right? Everything else is derivative of fear and derivative of love. Stress, anxiety, these are the derivatives of fear. Fear is irrational. Okay, you reasoned yourself. Why? Because the future has not happened and the past does not exist, right? The past is just information and the future is also just information. And where you access this information is from the current state. This is what creates fear, okay? Fear is appropriate if in the current state a bear is chasing you, then fear is appropriate. But if in this current state, I'm in my car and I'm driving and I'm going to work and I'm in a state of anxiety or stress or fear, it means I'm either thinking of something that has passed or something that will happen. And by the way, whatever will happen is not determined. It's determined by your thoughts and your actions to those thoughts. And it's determined by your constant vibration. Now, if you are in this fear of rejection, of being fired, of your boss being a dick all day long to you, then from this vibration of stress, you're just creating more of what is. Not because it's necessarily a match to that, the way other coaches explain it, but simply because you're not in creative mode. If you're stressed, you're not in creative mode. And if you're not in creative mode, how does the future create? We discussed this. We discussed this a few times. So if you're not in creative mode, which you cannot be in a state of fear, how does the future unfold? How does it know how to unfold? I told you, this is a game. The game will exercise the least amount of energy. Anybody? Somebody? Nobody? The future unfolds more. It's just giving you more of your past. That's all. Because that's what it knows. That's what the system learned. That's what requires the least amount of energy for the system to give you. You're not in a creative state, you get more of your past. In other circumstances, in other bosses, in other men, in other fights, in other conflicts, in other, but it's more of the past. That's all. That's why everybody, the majority of people are in loops. If they are to analyze their lives are loops. By default, exactly. Remember, the game doesn't really create anything new. There's an element of randomness to life, but that's rare. That's rare, randomly win the lottery, random acts of violence, knock on wood on the street. There is an element of randomness. But other than that aside, it's just a loop if you are to observe your life. If you want to escape this loop, you cannot be in the fear of something that didn't happen or you got to be in love, in the vibration of love, satisfaction, joy, creation, right? You got to be in feminine energy. Feminine creates. Let's talk about feminine and masculine a little bit, okay? Because I didn't get a chance to last Monday and I had it tabled. Okay, so I want you to understand feminine and masculine doesn't really have to do with gender, right? in general, the majority of women are naturally leaning when they're born, when they're little girls, towards feminine energy, and the majority of males lean towards masculine energy. But as you can see in today's society, all of this can be changed by messages, by paradigm, by internalizing how other people behave, and by constantly learning to live against your natural instincts. And so masculine, we have for the masculine, these are just the typical, I'm just going to give you the typical and how it relates to the work we're doing here. Masculine is action-oriented, logic, reason, independence, discipline, focus, structure, order, assertive, and protective, creating a safe environment. Now, when I read this list of masculine traits, okay, I realize that if you are a woman who's on your own, okay, who's a single mom, like I've been for many years, who is just, maybe she's not a single mom, but she has to do this life on your own. Women will have to be here. They will have to be action oriented, independent. They will have to be disciplined, because if you're a woman who's not disciplined and focused, your life will be going down a lot faster maybe than a man's life, especially if you have kids and other responsibility. You have to have structure and order. You have to be assertive. You have to be protective of your children and of yourself in general. There's nobody else to protect you. You asked ChatGPT this morning for the definitions. Yeah, but now let's talk about how they apply, okay? So you got to understand you had no choice but to be in the masculine. No choice. No choice if you're a grown woman, or even like not a grown woman, but your father wasn't around. Maybe you had to be this for your mother. This is the limiting belief. Okay. You got to understand who you are, Lisa. You got to understand who you are. If you don't understand who you are, you cannot overcome anything. If you're thinking, I'm not this, it's a limiting belief. I don't know if that's what you meant. You got to understand where you're at. Not everyone's at the same point, okay? Perhaps there's women on this live and in my group that grew up adored by the male role models in their lives and given everything. And they have other things that they want to manifest that's not working out for them. And but it's not this. So I'm talking to the women that, oh, okay, you agree. I'm talking to the women that have been forced in the masculine. And if I'm to look at this, if you're a smart woman, you have to use logic and reason, right? You have to use discipline and focus in today's world. The world is structured in the masculine, right? In the masculine, yeah. So you realize in the masculine since you're a child, and so have I. So I completely understand. Now let's look at the feminine. Intuition and emotional intelligence. Right? We are actually the ones that have to understand men traditionally, provide them with emotional intelligence, guide them towards, whether it's our sons, whether it's the people that we're dating, explain to them what's going on, and they should automatically switch in that protective mode, right? Into that masculine mode. Receptive and open. You got to be receptive and open, but we can't be, because what we're getting these days from the male population, and again, I'm talking about most women who are out there dating, is nothing good. So how can you be receptive and open to bad behavior, to cheating, to someone not being there for you, to someone not helping you out, they're not in this masculine things that I see here. I know more women in the masculine than I know men. Okay, the majority of men are not even this. They're not structured and ordered. They're not disciplined. They're not assertive and confident. They're definitely not protective. So all these things, when I'm reading in the feminine cannot exist even with the masculine. Only the masculine can exist in this world. Do you understand? Because the world, the way that's structured right now, is structured for only the masculine to succeed, masculine traits to succeed. And so we have no choice but to fall into this if there's no backing for us of this masculine, right? If I have somebody who's action oriented, I don't have to book the trips. I can just express myself, create myself. I'm seeing myself on, exploring a forest, doing a hike at the Grand Canyon. But the action oriented masculine should be like, okay, I can go in April. Let me look into that. Let me book it. That's sort of how the dynamics should work. And whether that's your dad, whether that's your husband, there should be somebody else where if you are free to create, somebody else has to take over the implementation of it. You understand what I mean? So we can't be receptive and open because who knows what the world throws at us. So we learn to shut down emotionally where we should be the other way. Nurturing and compassionate. Okay, that's what we're supposed to be. Yeah, but we learn that we can't be that for people that don't deserve that. And they're wondering, oh yeah, all these women, you're gonna be cat ladies and pet ladies. And well, yeah, because our nurturing and compassionate side has to express itself. It's a beautiful thing, and we can't, it's a natural instinct in us, right? So the fact that we have a need to take care of others, and you guys are laughing at that. Like society is laughing at our need to express our nurture and compassion. Well, if you don't have children, if you don't have a good man that, is expressing the masculine and you can be nurturing towards, where is your nurturing going to go? Of course, you're going to get 3 cats. By the way, I have 1 cat. I love him. Okay, creativity and expression. Creativity and expression is done not in a state of panic. You can't be creative and expressive when your schedule is jam-packed as a single mom with your 9 to 5, with your kids' soccer practice. When are you going to be creative and expressive? When are you going to create? Somebody asked me, the stress. As a woman, really, we should not have this kind of stresses, the masculine stresses. And what else do we have here? Collaboration and community. So this is where we're at, okay? My whole group, collaboration, community, creativity, and expression. This is why we're working together, right? I realize more can be accomplished together and by seeing each other rise, as nothing, oh, why her and not me? No. If her, then me, with that principle and with the principle, my God, this is possible. This is what we can create together. Let's get together. Let's meditate. Let's be creative, expressive. Let's say what's on your mind. Let's be truthful. Then life will flow. We create the flow. We create the spontaneity. Okay, so many women in my group tell me they have husbands, they're housewives, and they tell me, you know what, I was trying to create something for me, but really, I got my husband double his salary. I think this is how it expressed, because I was thinking of exactly, 120,000, and his income increased by 120,000. These are true stories. Like I read these on my group over the last 6 months, quite a few of them, right? Because the flow of life, the spontaneity, the hey, I created something, can express in a woman's life through the masculine. We talked about this. So if your masculine is that, provider for you, is that, it's very likely that the universe will provide through the vehicle that's already set up in your life to provide for you. This is why that happens. That's for women who are, in that safe space of being provided for, but maybe they want more. And finally, intuition and wisdom, which you can't tune into your intuition in a state of stress, right? So if I'm looking at the feminine, which is, by the way, 90% of women should be naturally here. Intuition, emotional intelligence, receptive and open, nurturing, compassionate, creative, expression, collaboration, community, flow of life, generated spontaneity, intuition, and wisdom, okay? I know more women in action-oriented logic, reason, independence, discipline, structure, assertive, and protective. Right? Who's with me? Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? So I want to tell you that this work that we're doing cannot be done from the masculine energy. It has to be done from the feminine energy. And even if you're a man, if you're more inclined to the feminine, and if you're able to tune into the feminine, you will be able to create. A lot of artists do that. For a lot of musicians, a lot of guys who are tuned into the feminine can create that. So this is the dilemma with the feminine and masculine. And here's what I'm telling you. If you are a single woman or a single mom and you're in the masculine, because you have to be, right? Do not tolerate a partner that keeps you in the masculine. Now, sometimes it's not the partner's fault. Sometimes it's your own fault, because you get with a man and you're like, oh yeah, now I got yet one more thing on my schedule, is dating this man, or, but I'm going to keep everything exactly the same. I'm going to action it. I'm going to logic and reason this, and if this man cannot provide the space for you to unfold, but again, the initiative has to come from you. So you're going to sit back and sort of unfold and tune into the feminine and let him take over on the masculine roles and see what happens. Now, maybe the majority of men will not be able to do that. And so you can't get involved with them. This is the hard truth, because there's no value to getting involved with a man that keeps you in the masculine. He just became an extra responsibility for you. Why isn't anybody saying anything? Who's with me on this one? You know this. Everyone's been there. Everyone's had or dated that man. How much should we divulge to the man? Nothing. To the man, you should just talk to them about your expectations. Look, everybody agrees now. Everybody agrees. Everybody's been in those relationships where they had to stay in the masculine. Everybody. True, and I'm only 20. God. She's only 20 and she already knows this. She's already experienced this. Wait until you're 30, 40, kids. Carrying this guy on your back. But it's good. If you're 20, it doesn't matter. You can change it at any time, not if you're 20. But at least if you're 20, you're not going to have to stay in this energy forever, like for the next 20 years. Alyssa says, just got out of one of those relationships a year ago and I will never accept that again. Alyssa, it's important to sort of sit back for everybody and be like, why was I in that relationship that didn't feel good, where he felt like an extra responsibility to me? Why? Yeah, exactly. We learn to be masculine in school. That's why women are confused. Yes. Listen, the school is not bad if the school would say to us, these are the traits you need to succeed in this masculine world. It might not be innately who you are, but you need to employ the skills to succeed. But never choose a partner that doesn't have the skills, or you have more of the skills than he does, because then he will be your extra child. My past relationship was a weight. You mean you were a mother to your husband? So yeah, here's the thing. When you're asking, why is my manifestation not working? But meanwhile, you're a mother to your boyfriend, to your husband, or you're the other man. You're their friend. You're their buddy. They rely on you, their partner. 50-50. Why is my manifestation not working? Because you're doing life from 3D. You're doing life the masculine way. Oh, you were the man and the mother to him. Nice. Yeah, you can't. So don't divulge to the man, hey, you're masculine and I'm feminine. And what should happen is, okay, even though I have all these traits and even though I've done this, when something clicked in my mind that this was the problem, this is why I was never going to be able to be in a productive relationship with a man until I switched over to the feminine. So you switch over to the feminine slowly in the things that don't matter, right? And like you meet a guy, the date, the planning, you have nothing to do with that. Okay, I had a guy, he showed up at my house to pick me up only because he was a friend of a friend. I met him at a party, so he was safe. So he shows up at my house and he says, so where do you want to go? And I was like, I already knew this was not gonna work, right? Like I already knew in that moment this was not gonna work, because you met me 4 days ago at this party, you had plenty of time, you invited me out for dinner. When he says, what time should I pick you up? What's your address? And I gave it to you, I'm assuming you already made the plans, right? So these are the small things that accumulate. But don't tell me, oh, I didn't know. You knew. You knew he didn't open the car door for you. You knew he can't make plans. Like you have to think ahead. How can I impress this guy? What stimulating conversation do I have to have? What do I, how can I, another one. I was organizing his closet. I said, you're dating him how long? Well, 2 months, but he needed my help with organizing. So you take on this roles of mother, I'll tell him the better groceries that he has to get. And, you take over like a mother. And so the relationship develops that way. They take a step back because you're the boss. And then in the end, it doesn't work out because they don't want to be with the boss. Surprise. I got too passionate about this topic, But watch in your dating stage. Please watch. Is he in the masculine or are you more in the masculine? Write out the traits: action-oriented, logic, reason. Who reasons? Okay? Independence, discipline, structure, order, assertive, confident, protective. The environment is safe, right? He doesn't get in the car first and you're outside the car, you can get kidnapped. He lets you be on the other side. He goes to the driver's seat, closes the door. He's so safe. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. It doesn't have that protective side. You have to have the protective side. It would be nice if you could both be in the feminine, but it's never like that. It's never like that. And so stop doing a lot of the stuff if you're already in the relationship. Stop doing a lot of the stuff that you're doing in your masculine energy. Start focusing, oh, what are we doing this weekend? I don't know, babe. I'm just chilling. You let me know what we're doing. You let me know if you have some plans and I'll see. And sometimes you can't do it because you need your space. You need space to unfold. You can't go out with him whenever he wants to go out sometimes because your intuition, your spirit, your feminine. This is why, women sometimes have to say no. They have to say no, even to intimacy. We have to say no because we should be guided by our emotions and our intuition, not by a schedule. So if you never tune in to be like, well, do I want to do this thing right now or no? Or am I doing it because it's Saturday night? Or am I, you with every single act like this, you violate your intuition and you violate that space that your body requires. And does this make sense? So I want to move on from this topic, unless you guys have more questions. We're going to have everybody in my group. We're going to have a live this Saturday, the group coaching, so you can leave more specific questions there if you want. Okay, I want to tell you. I want to talk more about manifestation and the formless substance. Remember, to align with the formless substance, what you have to do is understand that the formless substance is always looking for new ways of expressions. And that means more life. And if you're not seeking out to live more, if you just have very static things like, oh, I want this car and I want this one thing or this one man, that's not an impulse of life. That's really more like a spell-like mechanism. You have to have an impulse to live more, to live better, to be better able to contribute, which means money, right? You have to be abundant. You have to be abundant in order to be able to contribute. Because if I had to be at a 9-to-5 job right now, I wouldn't be able to contribute this live. Get it? That's how it works. You can't really contribute, and you don't need millions of dollars, but you need to be in a safe space to contribute. So I'd like to know if you have tips for not paying attention to the how. Give us an example, please. Not only should you not be focused on the how, but you should actually think, my God, this thing is so unlike anything that ever happened to me that the way it's going to come is going to be so serendipitous and it's going to leave me in awe. And this is why I can't contemplate it at all. It's like this woman with her furniture. She put the furniture in her mind, the first story I read, and, contemplating the how. How are you going to get the furniture? Well, as soon as you get home, you're going to go through a catalog or you're going to go to the stores and you're going to go there, you're going to negotiate a little bit. They're going to deliver it to your house. Instead, 4 days later, she came home and all the furniture was replaced for her. You have to think that the seed that you're planting is now spreading through an infinitely intelligent mind, and that mind is planting the seed of what to do in the minds of other people that will be crucial in the execution of your plan. And this is why you can't think about the how. Okay, you can't think about the how. Because if I thought about how am I going to get this detached 4-bedroom home in the city, and I did a little calculation and I did this, it was impossible. So I can't think about the how. If I save for another 5, 10, 15 years and, but instead of that, when I planted that, the universe planted the idea in someone's mind to be like, okay, who can help me with this project? And they found our firm. And so I got the call and we got this really big project that was not in line with what we were doing. It was actually even too big for our firm. And we got paid a lot of money at the end of it. But that's because I put in the universe, I want to get a house, not, oh, give me the money or how am I going to get it or what man do I need to meet to have this house. But I don't know how I'm going to get it. And I promise you guys, that's exactly what I said. I have no idea how. I don't care about the how, but this year it has to happen. And that year, promise you, I did this in December. I was in the house by August of 2019. You can't think about the how. The moment you thought about how, you close the door. doing something you feel compelled to do in the moment. Yeah, always taking inspired action, but also understanding that there's a lot of this that is not, it's not up to you at all. Like at all. Like I said, your seed, the instruction, the universe has to plant a similar seed, a seed that will lead to that realization in somebody else's mind and in somebody else's mind, and maybe in 10 people's mind, in a chain of events of what to do next in order for this to come to you. Chickpeas says, got the house of my dream, never thought I'd qualify. Yeah. You know what? When you never think you'd qualify, it's almost easier, right? Because you're like, it's out of your mind. It's just like saying, I want this house. I don't qualify, but I'm living in this house in my mind, and it's going to come to pass in other ways. Because right now I'm not trying to calculate, and I'm not trying to add 1 + 1 and see, you know, compounded interest when I can make this happen. Hence the surrender. Yeah. If you think you're the smartest person in the universe, you have zero chance. If you think, oh, that's another very important point. If you think you've done everything so far on your own strength, that's another sure recipe that you'll continue to do everything in your own strength and nothing more. Okay? It's only what your own strength can do, your intellect. And don't forget, you're also limited by your capacity to work as you progress through life, as you get like your health status, all of these things. You've done, in fact, you've done nothing on your own. If I look back how many bad things could have happened to me in certain situations and didn't, if you don't have this sense of my mind was high and I was protected from making these other choices, you know, you're protected when you drive on the road, right? Because right now you could be -1 arm, -1 leg, and everything, all of those things are not done in your own strength. This is what you have to recognize. I have been affirming I make 6K a month after tax for months on and off, but nothing yet. Help. I once affirmed I was making about 150 a year at that time, and I affirmed I'm making 600,000 a year. And when I affirmed I'm making 600,000, I began to see that my brain just went, no, like no, no. So the self-concept that I had at the time, it wasn't just self-concept. It was compounded with the fact that I knew people who were making that amount of money, like about 500,000, and they were working like dogs, and I didn't want to do that. Okay, like I was always like in business finance, and I didn't want to work like those guys. And so those two things combined, the fact that I didn't want to work that hard and the fact that my self-concept didn't permit, that affirmation, sometimes our affirmation, they just hit a wall, the wall of our paradigm. If you notice that they do, then you have to drop it. Okay, like I dropped it immediately. Okay, and eventually I got pretty close to that income, not exactly that income, but pretty close. But then I manifested more via other ways. But you will not manifest something that's not aligned with how you want to live your life every day. So if you associate 6K a month is a lot, or it's something that people prettier than you make, smarter than you make, or that it's going to take a lot of time, or if you make that association, what I recommend to people is you got to drop the amount. Okay, I've been recommending that for the last 9 months actually. The amount may be difficult for people's paradigms, especially if you don't come from a family that's ever made that. And so what you need to do instead is you need to focus on how you'd live differently at that level of income. That's all. Why do you want to make 6K a month? Do you recommend to visualize the end of the manifestation daily, or is it not surrender? If it becomes an obsession, if it becomes something that you have to schedule, then it is not surrender. Okay, if you're doing it as a technique, if you're like, right now I'm going to do 5 minutes, because if I do 5 minutes of this, then at the end of the year, I'm going to get that manifestation. That is not surrender. Surrender and the visualization of the end has to be juicy. It has to be juicy. You know, when I was manifesting a husband and I was single, and before I open my eyes in the morning and I'm sitting in bed and I'm feeling the juiciness of hey, somebody's arms around me, pancake smell from downstairs, because I'm very olfactory like that, all of this, the sweetness of the moment of what it means to be married and other things that I imagined. It was not because I thought, now I got to do this for 10 minutes to attract that man. It was because I surrendered to this desire and to everything that this desire generates inside of me. And I was sick of pretending I don't need anyone and I don't want anyone just because, you know, I make money and I can support myself and it doesn't matter that I'm single. All of a sudden, I was like, it's got nothing to do with that. It just got to do with, I want to be in this moment. I want the juiciness, the happiness of this moment. Okay? It's not forced. It's not like I'm in a Lamborghini and I see the whatever logo they have in the Lamborghini and I'm driving this and every night before sleep. It's not like that. You got to really want what you manifesting. And I know this sounds, oh, of course I want what I'm manifesting. You would be shocked how many wants people have that are not in line with who they are. It's just because society tells them that. How do I know? In my 60-day challenge, people who are doing it the third, the fourth time, they're like, I completely changed my goals. Who can attest to this? They're like, I completely changed my goals. I don't really, like, now that I started to do this and tuning into this energy, I don't want those things. I don't want, like, it doesn't, it's not what I want. How could I even have wrote that down? No wonder it wasn't working. Me, I'm on my third round and changed it, says Herbal Queen. When we do the work, is it technology that makes the event happen or God? If you guys don't understand what she means, I guess she's been following my content. So the way I describe the world as God, the universe, that the technology he left behind for us and us. Remember, the technology is what creates events, but the technology, the instruction in the technology, like, imagine this is like a video game or a game of some sort. The ultimate creator and player on the other end of the computer can make changes similarly to how you make changes, except he can make them a lot faster and a lot different, right, than you. But the changes are still made using the same technology. You can bypass this whole things that we're doing, okay, or manifestation or thinking of it that way, by going directly to God and the creator and asking him to do this for you. The thing is, if you're not sincere in believing there is a God who creates this and who has this power, then it's not going to work. The prayer is not going to work. And the majority of people have not been raised in faith. So it's not like a lot of people who are raised in faith, who pray to God, do get their manifestation. So if their manifestations are normal things that people want, you guys got to understand also that in this game, there's certain rules that we are meant to have. We're meant to have happy marriages. We are meant to have long-term provision and partnerships. And we're meant, all of these things, it's just society has convinced us we're not meant to have these things. Like, it's hard to have a home. What are you talking about? It's hard to have a home. Was it hard to have a home in the 50s? No, nobody was manifesting marriage and having a home, because every single person by the age of 25 had those things. And of course, some of them had big homes, some of them had small homes, but these are kind of rights, more or less, for everybody. And so when you're asking is who's doing it and your analytical mind is already not in the place where it should be. If you think God only wants you to access him, you go to God and you ask him and you pray and you leave behind all this other thoughts of who's making it. Because when you're asking who's making it, you're asking, what should I be focused on? Who is that power that can give me what I want? Who should I serve? But in your mind, you should already know what's going on here, because who you are inside should already be aligned a certain way. Like, I have reverence for God and I pray to God, but I understand that God has left me this technology, so I don't have to go to him for every single thing. I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to control my mind, to become an ethical person, to contribute, and I just, from having developed myself and continuing to develop, I'm not where I want to be. Inside, I'm not where I want to be. I want to be better control of my mind and keeping my mind high all the time. From this perspective, I ask God, hey, give me more so I can contribute more. Give me more time, really. Because that's what money means. It means I have more time to dedicate to others. I have more times, like, just provide, let the system, how can I, but then I'm in the system. I'm like, hey, what can I do next? I want to do my part. I'm not some puppet. God has not made puppets to be like, okay, now I'm going to take you here and place you in this other things. I just need the door opened and I want to walk through it and do the work myself. You should all have this sense that I want to go in the right direction and I want to contribute. I want to be an ethical person. I don't want to be defocused by those who don't matter, by things that don't matter. I don't want the world to steal from me, which it does every day. It steals your time and your energy and your focus. I don't want this. Just say no. You have to say no to the devil, which is what the devil is, right? It's like the one via whichever way takes your focus away from your destiny, from God, from goodness, from being ethical, for being moral. That's all it is. You have to say no. You have to say no. It's up to you. God won't make you say no. Do you understand? Your creator is, the simulation is for you to use. The game is for you to use. And if you run into trouble, then you can ask for help. But until then, your responsibility is to function in the game. It's to function. And you really have to run into trouble only because it just happened, not because you lived an immoral life and you did everything wrong and you knew that and now you're in trouble. Your recent video about why when I'm staying positive do bad things happen resonated big. That's 2 videos down. That's another video that should have done really well because it was about somebody in my group reaching out to me and saying, I've just been in a car accident and I'm fine, but the car is completely totaled. But why did this happen when I was thinking positive? And I'm explaining there sort of what's going on. You should go and watch it. All right, I promised some people that I'm gonna answer a couple of questions, so I'm gonna go quickly through them. This was a good discussion today. Okay, I have here, there was one that I wanted to, just give me a second. Okay, she's saying, I'm thinking of manifesting a celebrity SB sometimes in the future, but he has 3 kids and his current girlfriend is now pregnant. I just found out. I wish with all respect to his kids that he didn't have that many. And honestly, 1 or 2 wouldn't bother me, but I hate how his current girlfriend is now pregnant. I know 100% this does not mean he can stay with her, but I hate the idea of him having so many kids with other females because it's looked so down on. Is it really possible to manifest this situation to be gone? Because we are talking about lives here, you know, like possibly maybe manifest he's not really the father or something like this. Okay, what a ridiculous circumstance and in a sense question, but I'm going to use this as a teaching moment. Let's say he wasn't a celebrity and he was just a man and he has 3 kids with somebody else. His girlfriend's now pregnant. You want to manifest them. So first of all, you guys know my opinion about manifesting specific persons. If you don't know, watch my manifest SB and maybe you will get to love yourself more than you get to obsess about other people. But here's her answer, and our answers are generally in the question themselves. So whether or not, let's just put aside that he's the celebrity, she doesn't have access to him. The fact that she's saying it bothers me, these are people's lives, you know. These are like, the fact that she's pregnant is a problem, but I still kind of want him. See, your shame and guilt and everything else is in this question. Okay, the impossibility of it all, you're already expressing it. I'm not happy as 3 kids. I'm not happy, blah, 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 blah. So if in your mind, you could really see like, none of this is a problem. Okay, but think about the kind of person you need to be to think that none of this is a problem. He's with me. We're cruising on the Riviera. He doesn't call his kids. He changed his telephone number. And, you know, they don't bother me. Okay. In fact, he's probably not even the father. And if you really can bring yourself to that level, who knows? In catching the formless substance, like I explained how SPs are manifested, maybe you could have him. But the fact that this is all you're not that person, okay? You're a good person. You just like think he's cute or whatever. But read your question again and see. And when you formulate And that the reasons why you don't have what you want, it's all around how you think about the whole situation. Guilt, shame. Guilt, shame. These are the main emotions, right? I can't really have, $200 million because that would mean this and this, or other people go without. Like in this case, you're saying here, I can't really have this man because his children would go without. I want you to notice that. I want everybody to notice that around their manifestations. I'm not going to address it otherwise because it seems, Queen, focus on manifesting the love of your life, a man who adores you. Not a man that you have to manifest to not be the father of his children. A man who adores you and only you, that you can be attracted to and adore. Okay. So this was a comment from somebody in our group, and she said, I'm not sure what this comment was, so I had similar experiences. I think this ties with Mona said in the past about manifesting needing to be true to your deepest and most authentic self. I don't think I knew myself as well in the past as I thought I did. So I was manifesting specific things that were not really true to me. Once I let go of the specific, I started manifesting much faster and clearer. This especially applied to romantic relationships. I was manifesting an SP and looking for a certain kind of relationship life trajectory that I think was not true to my deepest self. Once I gave up specifics and let myself be led by whatever series of events, a man came into my life who was much more authentic to who I am, and it is 100% the case. Why did I even want that? What I got is 1,000 times better than what I was asking for before. I don't even want to put too much emphasis on the material, but the man I was manifesting made 70,000 a year. The man who I ended up with is a millionaire, in addition to being better for me in a dozen other ways. I cannot overemphasize, don't bother manifesting an SP. This or something better will play out. Okay, I know what this was in response to, and I'll read that after, but it was in response to keeping your manifestation general as opposed to specific, not just about SPs. So here's what sometimes we focus or obsessed, especially when it's about the SPs. We think this is the only one. This is the one I want. Many times it's just a matter of ego. How dare he have dumped me? I'm gonna manifest him back, obsessed. But then, him being obsessed with you, if he has nothing to offer you, is that a good thing? Is that okay? So he come back obsessed, and what? Can he take care of you? Is he a protector, provider, prioritizer? Is he action oriented, logic, disciplined, focused, structured, ordered, protective, provided, assertive, and confident? Who cares, right? Because you are manifesting that. You're manifesting some dude who makes 70K and obviously can take care of you, obsessed with you. That's really where you gotta be. In order to be able to attract good things, you have to vibe in your highest form. Now, if you're part of our group, people will tell you there's a lot of changes that happen. So in this case, for this queen, she started to do the work about just being aligned with the highest, the best. I have a affirmation like him or better. I always get what I want or better. Really, if you allow in your heart for that better, the better will come. 100%. It might come in the better version of the person you're with, but it's more likely it will come in a much, much better version via somebody else. Okay, but this was in response to, this one is the last one I'm going to read, but she's saying, I'm starting to see more meaningful manifestation. In the past, I've been very specific about things I wanted, and oftentimes I have received those things with ease, but in receiving them, I noticed it wasn't bringing me the deep satisfaction that I thought it would. Like I told you guys, manifestation is not a guarantee of happiness. The greater intelligence has more in store for us. So I realized that it's not just about letting go of the how, but also letting go about what I think will make me happy. I have surrendered to God to show me happiness. Lately, my affirmations are more along the lines of trusting the universe to unfold my life in all areas, love, health, money, in the most exciting and joyous way. In this process, I have met new people, gained clarity around what I want to help people, and each day feels more exciting than the next. And although I have manifested a lot of tangible items during this time, it hasn't even been about that. It's more about the connectivity to the relationships that I open myself up to. The universe is showing me beauty and kindness from the people that I never even knew existed. I see the connectivity in everything. I just wanted to share this because I know we talked about how important it is to have clear direction. I do believe this is true, but I've also found beauty in trusting the ultimate intelligence to unfold your life in the most beautiful and gentle way. Yes. So here's the thing. Clear direction, like I said before, doesn't mean I want a Lamborghini. Clear, that's not clear direction. That's like spell like work. Clear direction, and you might get it. You probably get it. Okay, because a lot of people, like she says, manifest a lot of tangible things. But clear direction is I am going in a certain direction. Okay, where is your life going? I am going to be a wife and a mother who works 5 hours a day and has my own schedule in a fulfilling way, where I do what I'm passionate about and where I do. This is a direction, right? That kind of encompasses everything. It encompasses, as opposed to my business is generating 6K a month or whatever that queen says. It's very different than my business generating 6K a month. You might hit those 6K a month. You might be very discouraged of how you have to run your business. You might be burned out, especially if your business starts generating 20K a month. You might be cheated by a business partner. Happened to me, happens to people. You might go through all of these things that will make you unhappy, right? If you focus on my work is meaningful, I live in this environment, that means you already have the money for that. It's successful. You're doing this meaningful work because it's producing an income. You couldn't be doing work unless you're independently rich. You couldn't be doing work if it's not producing an income for you to survive on, right? And so in keeping this attitude of release, like I said in that video, why bad things happen. Level 1, when you start doing this work, you're thinking you're controlling everything with your mind. But at level 2, you understand that life is way bigger than that. And really, the game is so much more interesting than that. Yes, you do control certain things with your mind. Yes, directed and focused intention and mind can produce incredible things, incredible coincidences, incredible things that will convince you. But once you're convinced of that, you hit this wall, you hit this ceiling of, I don't even know what I want next, right? Like I got my SP, I got the ring that I put on my vision board. I got to get married, to be engaged in 9 months when I said I'll be engaged in 12 months when I was single, okay? I personally got all of these things. And so with my relationship, I'm like, okay, but what do I put in my relationship column now? Do you know what I mean? Like, as opposed to like, I'm relaxing into this life where I'm loved and adored and provided for. It's peace and harmony in my home. And it's not a specific thing that happens that creates that. It's really like what I'm projecting out. It's harmonious. It's everyone gets along. It's our schedules match. It's this idea that somebody else will organize the circumstances and events that will ultimately make this thing work or make it work long term. That's where you want to be at level 2. But you gotta get some of the small things, guys. That's why we even do the challenges, and because it's very cool. It's very cool to set up your mind, and then you get a free coffee and you get whatever. You get a phone call from a person you didn't have. You get $500 out of the blue. You get it in the mail. When I did my $500 challenge last year, I got like people who sent me pictures of checks that came in the mail for them. It was like exactly, they're like, I can't believe this. And that's very important. It's important to have these wins in order to be able to trust the universe, because we just weren't taught to do that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna put more details in the group. Let's put our hands together for the 369. I am a winner. One breath. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.